KHOU 11 News This Morning starts now.
Well, it's definitely a frustrating thing on the road, isn't it? When you drive up behind that slow driver who's in the left lane.
This morning, a lot of you talking about a new crackdown that's forcing people to move it on over. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Hernandez.
And I'm Russ Lewis. Welcome. It is Tuesday. It's April 10th. And this morning, we want your take on this about the left lane hogs, right?
Yes, exactly.
A lot of them. So we're about to jump on Facebook Live to talk about this morning. You can head over to our news Facebook page on Channel 11 here and join the conversation.
And while you do that, we'll send it on over to Cheetah Craft. Cheetah, a drier start than yesterday.
Yes, a drier start. And you know what? These clouds are already starting to break, so that means sunshine is emerging. Today, you're still going to need jackets this morning. We're nice and cool, but because we had a cold front push through overnight, and because that front is now offshore, now we are going to welcome a breezy north wind. And once the clouds break, a lot of that sunshine. Mid to low 70s today. You can see that on our radar. Radar is dry today. Dry through the first portion of the day on Friday. Next cold front moves through Friday. Details on that coming up next. Here's a check of your traffic.
Now a live look from KHOU 11 News Eye in the Sky.
Well, good morning to you. We start off on I-45. We've got an accident. This is on I-45, the Gulf Freeway, as you head northbound, right about Broadway. So before you get to the 610 loop, you can see they've got a right lane blocked off here. Ambulance just rolled up on the scene. Fire department's on the scene here. And traffic, because of this, will already be backing up towards about Airport. So if you're coming on I-45, expect those delays as you get inside the tollway and running 30-35 minutes from League City Parkway to downtown. All right, we go to our maps. We'll look over to the east side. So if you travel I-10, Highway 90, 225, all pretty quiet for the most part. We take a look at our Houston Transtar shot I-10 as you look into the 610 interchange. Not much doing. If there are already brake lights, it'll be as you approach downtown. But we check our travel times at 28 minutes, Grand Parkway to 45, pretty much still running delay free. No delays on 90 as you come in from Dayton or Crosby, or 14 minutes Crosby and Lynchburg to I-10, and 225 to the refineries. Still looking pretty good at this time, just building in volume.
Thanks, Darby.
We start this morning with some breaking news. A mother shot as she slept in her Southwest Houston apartment.
At least 4 children were sleeping in that room when that gunfire rang out. Let's check in right now with our Janelle Fort live at the apartment complex on Gulfton. Janelle, you just saw the woman getting back home from the hospital. How is she doing?
Yeah, well, we walked up, we knocked on the door. The family said that they didn't want to talk about what happened, but they told us that she's doing fine, that mom was shot when a gunman walked right up to the window of her apartment and began shooting. Inside, she was sleeping on a bed with her husband, and on the floor, 4 to 5 children were fast asleep. So it's really fortunate that none of them were hit, especially because, as you can see, there's several bullets that pierced through that window. Now, here's video you're only going to see here on KHOU. That's that woman being helped into her home. We shot that a few minutes ago when she got back from the hospital. Now, as you can see, she's got crutches, but was able to walk with some assistance into her home. We spoke with a neighbor earlier. He told us he always gets home around this time, and it's usually pretty quiet over here, and that it's surprising that this happened. Now, the scene is no longer active. There's a surveillance camera right up here on the building, and police are hoping that it caught a good glimpse of whoever is responsible for this. Now, right now, all we know about that suspect is that he left in a white vehicle. As for a motive, we don't have much information about that yet either, and it's unclear whether or not that suspect knows the family that lives here. Guys.
Okay, hopefully police can get some answers there. Janelle, thank you. Mark Zuckerberg is in Washington, D.C. this morning, set to testify before Congress about Facebook's data breach. Brandy Smith is here now to let us know what we should expect. And Brandy, Zuckerberg will face a lot of questions, but he has already released his prepared remarks.
Yeah, he did, Russ, all 7 pages of it. So Zuckerberg is going to tell lawmakers Facebook hasn't done enough to prevent its tools from being used for harm. He'll add the company, quote, didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. Before his hearings began, Mark Zuckerberg made the rounds in Washington, D.C., meeting with members of Congress to apologize for Facebook violating the privacy of its users. Today, 44 senators will each get 4 minutes to grill the company's CEO, specifically about how outside companies harvested data from 87 million people.
You know, my biggest worry in all this is that Facebook doesn't have the answers.
Zuckerberg announced the network would create an independent election research commission to look at the effects of social media on democracy. But he's expected to defend against calls to regulate internet-based companies.
If we don't do something now, none of us will have any privacy anymore.
The business model of Facebook, which is to monetize and sell and share information, without full knowledge and consent from users has to be abandoned.
A lot of people are sounding off on this on social media, including Christine, who says the biggest winner in the Michael Cohen FBI raid is Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, that raid is deflecting a lot of attention away from the Facebook CEO's testimony before Congress. Kathy says Mark Zuckerberg apologizes if the platform he designed to hoover up your data may have hoovered up your data. Funny or Die predicts that Zuckerberg is preparing for his upcoming testimony by memorizing flashcards with human emotions written on them. Ouch. And then we have Julia's idea for Zucko. So it's kind of Zuckerberg goes to Congress bingo is how she describes it. So if he mentions anything from this is something we think about a lot to being open and connected, maybe he talks about bringing people closer together. If he mentions any of that, then you'll get a Zucko. That's a way to stay entertained, I guess, during the testimony, but a lot of people are going to be paying attention to this because, I mean, there's about 87 million of us out there who had our data breached.
Right, and I think a lot of people want to hear the questions that he's going to have to answer. Forget the prepared remarks. How's he going to answer on the fly when some Congress people start laying into him?
Yeah, and the senators today, again, they have 4 minutes each to grill him, so it's a lot of questions.
Yes, all right, thank you, Brandy, very much. Lisa, over to you.
All right, thanks, guys. It is coming up here on 6:07. It's time for your morning rush. Police are looking for the man who posted a video on Snapchat firing a semi-automatic weapon out of a car window. This happened in Northwest Houston sometime in the last month. A portion of that video does show the man's face. Police hope it'll help them make an arrest. Bill Cosby will be back in court today for his sex assault retrial. Yesterday, prosecutors revealed that he paid his accuser $3.4 million as part of a 2006 settlement. Cosby's lawyer plans to argue that the woman made up her story to get that money. President Trump is lashing out after the FBI raided the New York home and office of his longtime attorney Michael Cohen. The raid was part of a referral from special counsel Robert Mueller. They are reportedly investigating possible campaign finance violations. Governor Abbott sending at least 1,000 National Guard troops to the border. President Trump has ordered Guard troops to help secure the border until the wall is built. The governor says there is no timeline for that deployment just yet. And finally, the Stros had no problem handling the cold during last night's game in Minnesota. They beat the Twins 2-0. The game time temperature was 35 degrees. First pitch for Game 2 of the series is tonight at 7:10, and that is your Morning Rush.
Good morning, 6:08. Well, the big story, clouds are going to continue to break this morning. Lots of that sunshine expected for the afternoon. We do have a breezy north wind because of our cold front that pushed through overnight. Strong storms by Friday evening. So first portion of the day, Friday, dry. That will change, and then that's going to leave us with a cold upcoming weekend. I'll walk you through our 7-day forecast and the rain expected coming up next. Now here's a check of your traffic.
Now a live look from KHOU 11 News Eye in the Sky.
Well, the one thing you need to know in traffic, we have an accident. This is on I-45, the Gulf Freeway inbound, right at the entrance ramp from Broadway. A right lane's blocked off, and you can see a sea of headlights. Brake lights start before you ever get to airports. As you get inside the tollway, be ready. Looking at about 35 minutes from League City Parkway to downtown. We will keep you up to date.
Sounds good, Darby. Thank you.
It is 9 minutes after 6. We've all seen this on the road. Somebody's in the left lane driving way too slowly, and then the line behind them, right, just keeps getting longer and longer, and they don't even seem to notice.
It happens. This morning, a lot of people are talking about a new effort to get people to move on over. Doug Delaney is here to fill us in. Hey, Doug.
Hey there, guys. I love it when you try and pass one of these people, too. You're always like, what are you doing? Like, you're just driving past them. What are you doing in this lane? Exactly. Well, Virginia recently started slapping drivers with a $100 ticket for driving too slow in the left lane or using it for something other than passing. The idea is to ease traffic congestion and road rage. Since July, the state has raked in more than $1 million in fines, so they're really cracking down on it. That's a lot of tickets. Texas has a similar law. You can be fined up to $500 here if you don't follow the passing lane signs. But of course, plenty of people are still doing it. We see it every day, right? On our Facebook page, people are fired up about this when we posted this. Linda says she knows 2 people in Southeast Texas that got tickets for being in the left passing lane without passing. And she says she's seen police officers pull people over in Houston in the passing lane for holding folks up. Jackie says it's impossible to enforce, especially if you're driving from Oklahoma to Texas. Nathan says add a 0, then you're on the right track. At first I thought Nathan was talking about the speed limit signs, like he wants to go some, but then I realized no, he's talking about the fine.
Gotcha.
He thinks the fines should be higher. Maybe $1,000 is more in the price range is what they should be fining people to keep it from happening. I don't know if you'll ever really prevent it though.
Just the other day, I'm not kidding you, somebody in the fast lane doing 45 on the freeway.
Oh, that's awful.
And I pulled up next to them going, just look over, because you need to look over and go.
You're like, what?
What are you thinking? Come on, you see this lot? We're all back here waiting on you.
Don't you feel like a jerk sometimes? I do when I don't give them a dirty look.
I just want to know. I want to know what they look like. That's all I want to know.
I don't roll out my window and say anything.
You don't give them a piece of your mind or anything.
I do glance to go, I have to see your face. Why are you doing this?
Who is this?
It's frustrating. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah.